Hello and welcome to the last Will It Forge Watching Paint Dry stream for this particular picture. At least it better be the last. I've only got one color to add. Otherwise the picture is done. And sorry, I thought the music would last a little bit longer than that. Such as the precise high budget timing that goes on this show. So the last little bit, I did do some touch up during the week. I wasn't going to bore you with painting white on white and that, but everything is, I think, touched up to the extent that it's going to be. And the last detail that I'm looking at adding is just around the picture a little bit, not taking it out all the way to the edges. I have got this antique parchment color. I don't know how much of the bottle you can see. Oh. Once again, high budget production helps if we take the things off a little bit, but obviously the high gloss isn't going to give you a good image of the color, but this is just listed as antique parchment color. It should give us a really nice alternative to the bright white and the bright colors of the picture. Now the other thing that I had this thought of doing is I've got a glow-in-the-dark paint, and it really crossed my mind to take and paint those eyes glow-in-the-dark, but I got my limits. I guess I'm too nice to do that or something. So instead, we're just going to finish off the picture with this color here. And then I do plan to post a summary video to my channel sometime in the next 2 weeks as well, with one or two really good natural light pictures of the finished result. I'm not planning a watching paint dry stream next week. I'm planning on using the time to make some actual video posts and prep for the next one, which I'm planning on doing similar to the wolf or the dragon, burning a image into the board, and then I'm going to be chasing it with some alcohol-based markers that I have. Just a little off-white. I'm not sure if it's actually as dark as I was expecting it to be. We'll kind of see. And while I get this started, we're gonna throw in a more natural, more regular tune. I am working on expanding the music library for streams. Don't worry, I have gotten permission from another artist to use in videos and stuff. I just need to read that in a little more detail and get some information before I run that in stream. So it's going to be probably next stream for that.
To my own
Okay, so that one's just a little bit off for me. I want this one.
Okay, Charlie, I'm going to see your Bruce Springsteen one last time and raise you a John Bon Jovi. I need some help singing though, it's been a long run. It's all the same, only the need for change every day. It seems we're wasting away another place where the faces are so cold. I travel all night just to get back home. 'Cause I'm a cowboy on a steel horse ride, and I'm wanted, dead or alive. Wanted, dead or it's time you so gonna die. You just been on strike. He's down on his lucky star. Oh, so tough. She knocks her down her old working for a man. She breaks on her big for love. She says we gotta hold on to what we've got. It doesn't make we make it all night. We gotta keep love, and that's a life for love. Come on, sing with me. We'll give it a shot. Oh, we're halfway there. I'm living on a prayer. Take my hand, and we'll make it, I swear. Living on a prayer, living on a prayer. Shot through the heart, and you're too late. The time that you give up, badly, badly. You play my card and you play your game. You give up, badly, badly. You give up. We gotta hold on to ready or not. You live for a fight when that's all that you got. Oh, we're halfway there. Living on a prayer, take my hand, and we'll make it, I swear. Living on a prayer, living on a prayer.
Nice way to end the music there. What can you do when other people's audio is not the best? I see you there, Kyler. Good luck at the store. Waiting for you to get back. As you can see, if you're watching, we've got a couple of spots where I'm just going to have to touch up the line a little bit when it dries. But I don't know. I think that it's a nice accent to the white, but it doesn't show up really well on the stream. You can tell that I'm painting something other than white, but I don't think it's contrasting as much on the video. Mind you, it is a slightly milder color distinction than I expected originally. But I'm not disappointed with it. It's coming up with, I think, the effect that I'm looking for. And this is one of the hazards of using the larger brush. I could definitely do that with the finer detail brush and everything, but I'm trying to take and then drag the paint out to kind of fade out on the edges, and I'm trying to get that in a consistent direction. What that ends up meaning for everything else is to look the way I want it to, I have to try at least to do it with the larger brush and hope that I don't cover anything except for black, where I can take and paint pen it again. So while we do that, and I continue on, I'm going to play this one from the Harris Show. On second thought, that one did not turn out as well. Not sure why the audio goes crazy sometimes. So let's go with Broadway Parody Medley, Stand By Me, and their Thriller Uptown Funk combos. Try that again. I know what was causing the issue. Apparently something was leaning on the keyboard.
of vibrato. Is he there to hurt her or be her vocal teacher? And why does it only happen late at night? How did this ever seem alright?
Memory, this show causes me agony, not to mention my allergies from these cats all around. Yes, it's misery, men and women dressed up as cats. Wish these memories would fade away. 525,000 choirs have sung this. 525,000 versions were bad. Everyone in rent was dying or homeless. Thanks to the writer, we all left sad. I need a hug.
We gotta get off these drugs. Come here close, I need a hug. Seasons of love. This song will be stuck in your head. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow it'll be stuck. Annoying, this song is annoying. We're singing it anyway. We're at war, another day across our country. Instead of fighting, we just dance and sing. I don't think that helps anyone, but obviously it's way more fun. We're at. Did you see the new movie? Who was in charge of casting? Everyone can sing. Why did they choose Russell Crowe? Why did they think he could sing? Seriously, he was awful. He should never sing again. His voice is monotone. Auto-tune can't save you now. Did they not think we working? The music builds, the end is near. We're at war. We will lose this revolution, 'cause our military sucks. We don't have any. Now, shooter, you already won. It's ever learned to use a gun. We'll lose this war, but we'll be sure to nail this choreography. For Broadway, one day more.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best songs from the 1960s, one of the quintessential hits, written and performed by Ben E. King. Here is Stand By Me.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me, baby. Stand by me. If the skies that we look upon should crumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble into the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand
darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me, baby. Stand by me. So, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, won't you stand by me? Oh, I want you to stand. Come on and stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, I want you to stand by me. Come on and stand by me, baby. Stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, I want you to stand. Come on and stand by me, baby. Stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Come on, baby. Stand by me, baby. Stand by me.
Getting into some of the tighter detail spaces now and towards the edge of the canvas board gets a little trickier. Trying to make sure that I have minimal pen touch-up to do because I know I'm going to have some. And also having to be careful because there's really no good way to do this where I'm not reaching over places I've already done. At least not to stream it. If I wasn't streaming, I could like start midline and move down and then let it dry and flip it around. And there's going to be some elements of some of that in here, but I've got to kind of paint upwards instead of downwards. I'm starting to understand the frustration of left-handers in writing. Because I just cannot get a good angle for this spot right here. And trying not to get any paint on my fingers in the back to the picture, because let me tell you, having to touch up anything but the black at this point would be really painful, especially since some of these colors were custom mixed for this picture on the fly. I do not know if I could recreate some of these colors again. Close grocery store. That's kind of nice. I actually have a Big Lots within walking distance. It's not all the groceries you need, but it's got a decent selection of some stuff that are essentials. I don't even have to cross a highway for that. I just have to deal with the fact that I can't walk straight to the store because of fences in the way. I have to walk around and about. And welcome back, Kyler. I don't know. I guess some of it depends on your screen brightness and everything. But if you can see, I'm adding just this light antique parchment color around the picture. It's not going all the way out to the edges. I still got white out here. That's going to stand out in contrast for it. It just kind of brings the picture together. It's a nice finishing touch, and that's what I'm doing today, is that finishing touch. I do have a couple of spots where I have gone farther into the black lining than I wanted to, so I'm going to do like a little bit of touch up with the pen when that's done. But this is the last bit, and then it's just throwing a sealant of some sort on it to protect it, because this is going to a pet house. Not just a pet-friendly house. There's multiple dogs, and lots of other small furries and hedgehogs. The person who's getting this picture doesn't just love hedgehogs. She's got several hedgehogs, and she does animal fostering for no-kill small animal rehoming and everything. And she's just going to get a nice little surprise of a slightly antiqued hedgehog. I just happen to be using this really big brush to increase my difficulty factor some, you know. Yeah, tough love making them learn. Making them learn to write with their right hand. I don't think any of my left-handed friends were ever forced to do that, but they managed to get plenty of ink and graphite on their left hands with writing. For most other things, you can really, for most things other than writing, it doesn't really make a huge difference. It's more an inconvenience to them, as some things are a little more designed for right-handers than left-handers. And we're getting better and better at balancing that out too. Mouses that can be operated, or computer mice that can be operated just as well left-handed on the reverse button setup and everything. But when it comes to actually writing, that is just kind of over the top for them. Yeah, Kyler, I think that I'm thinking that the color, the subtle antique color with the white border is going to bring everything into the middle and draw in. We did the black to make the colors pop, and this just kind of focuses everything towards that middle where everything is popping, and it's popping big. Maybe a little more subtle than I was planning, but it is looking good. And even some places where it's really tight lining and everything, maybe use a little bit of the left hand, which, as you can see, does not have the motor control of the right hand for us right-handed folks. Just the same as the reverse for you left-handed folks. And I tell you where this is going to get really challenging is going to be up here in the hedgehog, and that around the bottom of the cup is actually pretty straightforward. But it is turning out really well, I think. And I'm going to have a whole lot more of this color left than I expected. I always overestimate how much paint this is going to take. So I've got extra bottles of this color that I'm going to have to make good use of later. And we know I can. I may even use it for similar kinds of accents. It's a nice effect. Yeah, piano, if you can master both hands together and everything, especially in some of those complicated songs, you can kind of really you get used to using your left hand with greater dexterity and control. I did take piano. Learned to play starting around age 5, which means it's been a number of decades for me. And although I haven't had a piano in since 2014, so we're at 5 years. October 2014. And I always had some struggles with my left hand in piano, so I'm not nearly as good at that as I could be. Just trying to come up with, I like their let's try this one again, now that I'm not on the keyboard.
You see me driving around town with the girl I love, and I might forget you. I guess it's change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be richer. You ain't that some shit? All this pain in my tears, I still wish you the best with a forget you. Girl, I'm sorry, I don't drive a Ferrari, but that don't mean I can't get you there. I guess it's Xbox, I'm more like Atari, but the way you play your game ain't fair. I've been to the fool and falls in love with you. Now why? What? Just thought you should know better not. I got some news for you, and you can't run into your little boyfriend. You see me driving around town, the girl I love, and I'm like, forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough with you. And get her to said if I was rich, I'd still be richer. You ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? All the pain in my chest, I still wish you the best without forget you. I know you want me, I know you care. Just shout whenever, and I'll be there. You are my love, you are my heart, and we will never, ever, ever be apart. Are we an idol? Don't complain. We're just friends. What are you saying? There's another She has got to love nobody. Give me back. No, she can't be back. Holiness. She has got to love nobody. Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 ga, ga, ooh, la, la. Want your man romance. Rah, 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 ga, ga, want your man romance.
Yeah, Kyler, losing pianos in the family does tend to cut down on your practice and play time. Yeah, any piano that'll definitely need some work, or at least maintenance, tuning, make sure of everything. I've pondered keyboards, but I got this stubborn thing for keyboards that I kind of want a full keyboard, because give me all the notes, and with that it limits what you get, and it's kind of a size factor. And definitely gonna have to touch up a little bit up here. Thankfully, this is not a custom purple. That's just straight from the bottle, and I know which bottle that is. So for cleaning up here, as long as I don't get it past the first line, it's going to be pretty direct on the touch-up. It's just you have this fine detail in there that's a little tricky to get. Yeah, when you got to get siblings involved in everything for payments and everything, it takes more time and a little bit more effort and hassle on that. Oh. And this is why I'm often using a detail brush, because you get into these tight spaces. And the control gets tricky, especially when you're trying to maintain certain angles and not paint over stuff you've already painted before. I guess before I started, I should have resigned myself to having to touch up some lines at least. That's just kind of par for the course. Oh, 7 of you. That makes it 8 times more complicated than just having one of you for working things out. And those who have had large families understand the math on that. Oh, I don't really want to paint this thick up here. I think the camera might actually pick up some of the spots where the paint is thicker. And the extra hard balance, because I don't want to leave any white between the parchment and the black. Almost guarantees that I have to go onto the black for some of it. But that's what paint pens are for, right? As I showed last week, the paint pen works really well for this. Let's grab this one here.
My name is is Randy, and I'm from Chicago, where you're either a Cubs fan or a Sox fan. And out near New York, you might be either a Yankees fan or this season a Yankees fan. But in the 60s, during the British invasion, there were two bands that stood out above all the rest, except that we couldn't just pick one of them.
Help, I need somebody, help, not just anybody. You know I need someone, yeah. Help, I need somebody, help, not just anybody. You know I need someone, yeah. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Now I finally change my mind and open up the door. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, help me, you. Danger bird, yeah. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction. 'Cause I try, and I try, and I try, and I try. I can't get no. I can't get no. I can't get no satisfaction. Your beast of burden. My back was broke, but it's a hurting. And all I want is for you to make love to me. All you need is love, love. There are places I'll remember all my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends. I still can recall some are dead, some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. In my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Yeah, Kyler, sounds like it's a really, really nice piano with, if it's lasted that long, probably some really decent quality in it, as well as a lot of memories and meaning to the family, which just complicates the rest of the matters completely, of course. What can you say in those situations? But let's just get this figured out. That, and if your family has a Karen in it, no Karen, you're not getting your way on this. We're getting just so close on this, but it's going to have to... What I end up doing is I'll end up turning it and doing some of the touch-up in the lower section. Just really want to get this cleaned up and finished today is the goal. And so far, I've not done any damage to it that would keep me from doing that. Though working in these tight spaces with this bigger brush, I'm certainly trying to. But if you're going for finishing off the picture and really hitting this detail right, take and challenge yourself a little bit. Try something a little bit different, even dangerous. I'm a little bit self-destructive sometimes, so potentially disastrous. Yeah, if both Grandma and Mom were really good with it, even moderately good with the piano and everything, and played it a lot, that definitely adds to that value. One of the things that I wish in my own experiences, wish that we had years ago, the kind of recording technology and ability that we have now. My grandma wasn't into music and the like, but Mom certainly played her share of piano and did singing. She plays a dulcimer and a couple other things now, periodically, but there would have been a lot of nice things for recording memories there that I just don't have, including things of me playing and singing. I get the worst stage fright, but I have performed in plays and musicals and sung in choirs and done piano recitals and the like, so I'm not a complete stranger and novice to getting in front of people. It's just always been a outside of certain circumstances, rough for me to do, from a anxiety and that kind of thing. Play the Cotton Club theme as a warm-up. I am not off the top of my head familiar with that, and I don't know why. I know I should be. Maybe I know the music and not the title, but anything nicely active can be a good warm-up. It's the downside of living in an apartment, especially of trying to do recording and streaming in an apartment, is that you have outside noises that sometimes come into play. Oh. Well, as I said, that's what paint pens are for. And this particular blue is also a stock bottle color. That's actually the color that was the background on the Aaliyah plaque. And I think run a brush along the edges in a consistent direction. I think we have got it. Because it's got some nice fades on the edges, which is sort of what I wanted. You can see the color edge to the white. Yeah, probably once I hear it, I'll say, oh yeah, that song. That's most music in my experience. So really, what we're down to is doing a little bit of touch-up. And I'm going to throw in the 80s hair bands medley for a moment. Most good music anyway, yeah. Because I need to go dig for the paint pen and just a couple colors so we can clean this up and say it's done. Yeah, Boogie Woogie for warm up. Was mostly classical for me. Although some of that was just the selections from music instructors and the like. So I did find every color that showed me as needing any kind of moderate touch-up from that, including my Craftsmart black oil paint pen. So that is going to be the rest of this stream, is just taking and touching up those spots that need it, and trying to be very, very careful about that, not to mess anything else up, which is always the fun part of any painting project like this. And I'm starting with colors first, starting with colors that come up near the top here. And then we'll bring the pen back in to finish off. Just trying to make sure any spot that the color crossed into the black and possibly crossed over gets just a little bit of a touch, just so it's fine. So, Mr. Boogie Woogie, how are you with like the Maple Leaf Rag? That was always a favorite of mine, but I never got to play it. I actually had this old computer game that would be considered horrifically racist by today's standards. Was a kind of cross-platform maze thing. You had to you start up on a screen, you have to dodge monsters and collect stuff to get out to the next screen. And it was called China Miner. Like I said, it'd be terribly racist by today's standards. And the soundtrack for that game was just Maple Leaf Rag the whole time. It was very fun, though that did get a little bit old after a while. One thing I have to do the next couple of weeks I'm not streaming is get everything set up for alerts in my ear for when somebody says something and the like, so that I have kind of that audio getting my attention as well. Sorry about the background noise. Furnace does periodically kick in. It's a bit chilly outside. Is anybody familiar with Michigan winter learns? And your options are you run a furnace or you get very cold. I naturally choose to run a furnace. Let's see, I had one more spot. Oh. Never had the drive to get as good as your mother. I had some of the drive to get good. I lacked some in the self-discipline and practice, and there were a few other factors as well that kind of played into it. Some of it just being the coordination and control. You know, kind of like if we're playing dodgeball, the safest place to be is directly in my aim, because I'm not going to hit you. Texans are going to win against the Bills. Well, I can't exactly get upset if Buffalo loses, can I? I don't care that much, but hey, it's Buffalo. I just can't be fussed if they take a dive. And that is about as sporty as this channel will get to general sports ball. Well, you got sports ball and you got hockey. And I don't ever intend to do major commentary on either of them. I have the unfortunate disadvantage of being lifelong fan and follower, less follower now, of some Michigan teams that are amazingly adept at grasping defeat from the jaws of victory. So when it comes to sports, I generally am more comfortable not discussing. It's what you get when you stick yourself in a situation like that. Just want to finish up this lining, trying not to get any paint on myself at the same time. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the oil paint, which means it smells. Chiefs fan, I know where I'm coming from on that. Okay, so we've both got our crosses to bear on sports then. Definitely want to seal this because pet contributions to the picture need to be able to be brushed off or wiped off easily without destroying the image. And we are just getting so close. And I know I'm a little off the screen now, but I've got wet paint up here still that I have to be careful not to mess up. So we're gonna take and rotate, I think. And for those of you on DLive interested, I've mentioned my YouTube channel a few times where I do those laser projects and the like. I do actually, in the DLive description now, have a link to that channel where you can see those videos. Me making different things with the laser. It's going to get a kind of summary video of making this with some good natural light finish shots once I've protected it. And there'll be other projects that I'm going to put up there too. As I said earlier, I'm not planning on streaming next weekend. I'm hoping to use that time for assembling some videos and maybe getting a post up, reading through what I've got in regards to a music inquiry I made, because another amazing a cappella artist that I listen to regularly did give me permission to use his music in my videos and stuff. I don't have singing mostly in my straight videos. Having being able to play some of his pieces in streams is going to be a really nice addition to the streams. And I think that we may be just about done. Let me reposition things a little bit. And we're going to give you folks on the stream a really nice view of the finished item. So having a small portable camera is really nice. Let's get make sure the light's high enough for, there we go. At that level, you don't see the colors as well, but you can see the bordering of the white and the antique parchment. And we're going to kick the light up a little bit more and really highlight some of those colors. And you got metallics and sparkles in there that really stand out some. I'm going to try with some of my natural light pictures for that standalone video to really get you some good views of this. Unfortunately, the best view is going to be reserved for the people that can see it in person. Anything with color, that's just kind of what you get. You can't get... I suppose if I had an expensive enough camera and a powerful enough computer, I could give you some really good reference of the color. But I'm going to try and get some really good pictures in natural light, because what you get with this bright camera light is a mix. But yeah, I think it's a good piece. I'm happy with the results overall, especially where I've got the edging in it. I really like, you can still see it faintly in the video. I like the bordering where we've got just a slight offset because it's got that antique parchment color. And we got the regular bright white over there. Well, it's a matte white, but I saved you the boredom of watching me paint white on white, so you can thank me for that later, or now, up to you. You know what? I got one more spot. I need to. Probably just made it worse than better, but remember what I said about self-destructive on things. Yeah, who has 6,000 burning a hole in their pocket? Jeff Bezos. That's what I need to send a patron request to like Jeff Bezos and see if I can't get enough to just kind of do this full time for the rest of my life. Figure, you know, tap Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates, all three. I could probably get enough to live comfortably the rest of my life. That would work for me. But then I'd end up having to bug you folks more with more videos and more streams more frequently. And then I'd have to set up a third channel not associated with my ID so I could get into political commentary. And if my patrons ever found out that I was doing that, I'd lose my patrons, of course, because you know, that's just the way it goes. So the picture, as I said, the picture looks like it is done. Need to take and either this weekend or the upcoming week, I'll put a clear coat on it and we'll take and protect it so that it's ready for those pets. Yeah, the Bob Ross of DLive. Now, that would be something. What I'd do for that is I'd actually end up setting up a studio and I'd put on a green morph suit so I could, like, take and patch myself out with a complete animation or something. Problem with that, though, is then I'd have to avoid green colors in the pictures because, well, they'd get patched out too. Maybe a motion tracking suit. That would need some big real-time processing power, though, to render. I'm just kind of stuck here looking at it and thinking that I am pretty happy with the way this turned out. It's got some personality. It's got some variety. It's got an eye-catching color combination. And if I try to do any more, I'll probably mess something up. So, kind of hold my hands back so I don't mess with it anymore. Next steps, of course, once everything's dry, I'm going to make sure it's dusted off and then protect it. And then it gets to go and be a gift. Yeah, now you just need to leave it alone. Yeah, this is seems kinky, but this is when I need those handcuffs. I don't know, there's just not a lot more to say about this. This was a very fun experiment using canvas board, the laser, and acrylic paints. The only color on there that's non-acrylic is the black, and that was just because I don't have super fine point, extra fine point black paint pens in acrylic. I don't know. I'd probably find them somewhere, but I didn't have them, and I needed to do that black lining. There's a variety. You've got brilliant colors. You've got acrylics that are glitter, like in the ears here. You've got metallics, like the face and the mug lining. You just want plain matte ones and some maybe some unusual combinations in there. None with a ruler saying no. Yeah. I don't mess with nuns that have rulers. Actually, my experience is nuns are quite capable of being stern without rulers as well. So try to avoid being on their bad side. And that personal experience is not from going to a Catholic school or anything like that. It's having a couple of cousins who were nuns. One side of the family, a bunch of one side of the family married into a bunch of Irish Catholics. Raised Catholic, about nuns. That is definitely, first-hand experience gets you. Definitely. No, I've spent time with them, just not directly under their authority and direction. So. I know. I'm just kind of stuck. I'm sitting here just staring at this picture and keep looking up at comments and back at the picture and everything. And one detail I do actually want to bring attention to, aside from the, I need to get this a little dimmer and a little closer in. So aside from the eyes, in this area here, inside the black is all just its completely unpainted canvas. And I did have a temptation to do that like glow in the dark, so it just kind of like stood out spooky as a surprise, but I'm being good. I didn't do that. I've got another spot right down here in the swirl. We have got a just 3 triangles that also left unpainted. Now, just from the standard of it, they probably could have gone with the colors passing through here and everything, but they accent with the green and the pink nicely too. And it's just reminding myself that to have a good picture, you don't have to fill everything in. I don't buy into the canvas that is all red and it's a $250,000 art piece or anything like that. No, I'm not messing with it. It's the brush is dry, I promise. Brush is dry. I was just using it as a pointer. See? Nothing. Dry brush. No. I am behaving myself. I am not messing with it. I've not poured out any more paints. This is it until it gets protective coating. It's not getting any more potential to mess it up. Because that's what it's. If I give in to the perfectionist in me, I give in to saying a few spots, could use just a little bit more of a touch up, and I would mess it up. And so I'm being good. Good, just trying to help. Yeah, no, I understand. It's a matter of if I give in to that, I know I'm going to do more damage, more harm than good. So I'm being very, very restrained on that. Besides, it's a good thing to challenge your inner demons. One of mine being the OCD and perfectionism and everything. So I do want to, though, just show before I close out, because I did finish a little earlier than I expected. I wanted to show that I've got a few different things here. The ones I don't have readily at hand are the actual tubes of acrylic paint. But obviously, you've seen me having the bottles of acrylic paint. You can get these at craft stores, Walmart. I've actually got a local dollar store that carries a decent selection of them too. Some of the colors on it came in this. This was from a packet that I got at the store. Actually, Meijer, it's similar to Walmart. I got it on clearance. Some of these colors aren't in the best of condition. Acrylics don't age real well, but it was a real cheap supply. And then I had some tubes of acrylic paint that are similar to the tubes of oil paint that you can see at art places too, but it was acrylic instead. And then, of course, the black paint pens, both in acrylic and oil. Because the acrylic didn't have all of the super extra fine tips, so it only got places that are really big, like up here at the tip of the eye section and in the eye itself, and then the fine lines with the oil pen. Over time on the sports ball team. Let's hear it for sports ball. They can say if they try hard enough, they can lose when they're winning. Any team is capable. Some teams are better at that than others. Now, one of the things I'm planning on doing with those bottles is taking and putting a little bit of paint from each one in the lid and then using the laser to make a rack that I can put them in. So I can just look at it and see how it actually shows up on material. I look at this and it's like, she is going to love this. And the hard part is in the office, she's in a call center, and the noise feedback that's going to come from handing this off to her where she sees it for the first time might be a little bit disruptive to business, but what can I do? What can I do? Yeah, there's designs for racks for holding the paint bottles for the laser already available to me. I just want to tweak it a little bit so that I've got ready access. I can just look over and say, hey, this looks like this. And then I can keep track of what I've got and then spread out to more colors that I don't have without overlapping on them all the time. What have we? Let's see. I was kind of surprised I didn't open the box last week, and it did carry over the box to this week. So just make sure that it's over the 10 limit so that we can open it up for a little bit of fun. You know, that everybody, I got looks like 4 viewers, and maybe everybody can get a lemon. Well, a couple lemons because we're at 11 now in the chest. I know, big chest opening. That's pretty much it for this picture. The first long process of the watching paint dry stream. You could call it season 1, the hedgehog picture. It is going to take me a week or 2 off. I am going to come back with a season 2, new material, new media, and pick up again. So watch for those streaming announcements at various places. The one place that 2 places I always announce are the Lords of the Night and Satsu Nation Discords. Otherwise, you can just watch for me on DLive. If you subscribed, you can always see me in your subscriber list. I'm over on YouTube as well. Link for my YouTube channel is in the DLive description. I really should put the DLive link in the YouTube description too, but whatever. We're a really professional recording studio here and everything is just amazing. In just over an hour and 10 minutes, they get Lords of the Night over on Ranting Monkeys channel. Not really for kids, well, definitely not for kids. But if you like a variety of news and political commentary, opinions, maybe catch stories that you didn't hear, get people talking about them, some fun question answer time, other stuff, and they're throwing some new surprises in too, or old things. It's always a fun channel to check out. Stop by there, especially if it's your birthday, and let them know. They have got the best of the worst birthday singing on the internet, and it's a unique, torturous pleasure. And that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and open the chest, and then we'll be cutting this stream off, and I'll be back with my next streaming, hopefully in 2 weeks. Next weekend, definitely going to be working just on YouTube channel, posting video stuff, and then hopefully the weekend after, back with more live streaming. Kyler, I hope to catch your stream tomorrow too. Always fun watching you challenge yourself in Monster Hunter. If you don't know, Kyler streams 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central on YouTube on his channel. He plays mostly Monster Hunter, and it's its own entertainment. And here we go with the chest, and thank you for stopping by. Have a great evening. Oh, and I promise I will not touch this with any more color. It's just getting a protective coat. I will be good even when I'm offline. And congrats to Kyler and John Handel on the cash out there. I know John lurks and he's silent type. What can you say?